And there are signifiers. The amazing thing about Amy is that she fully wore her opinions as well as her heart like on her sleeve. So
in retrospect, which kind of makes me feel a little bit old. That's what I learned. I'm old. I'm Jack O'Connell.
I'm Marisa Abela.
Chatting with Cosmopolitan UK.
I understood it was going to be a big undertaking, but who wouldn't want to play someone as amazing as Amy, you know, and everything that comes with that, like the full breadth of who she was, from the highs to the lows and everything in between. It was just too exciting.
I loved the period, loved the era. It was a highly nostalgic one. So there was all that. I loved Amy's music. I kind of slept on Amy at the time. I didn't want to be like, I thought I was like really like against the grain and like original.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be like a bandwagon follower. But looking back, you know, I really slept on her tunes. So when the opportunity to do this came about, it was just like, it was a bit of a no-brainer. Plus I was there for your audition and I was like, wow.
We did have a chemistry read, yeah. It was in Soho and I was very nervous and you were very nice.
I was nervous too. Nina makes me nervous.
Yeah, a casting director, it's a big deal. And we were, you know, but it was fun. We had a few scenes and that was the first time that we'd met and it was good. It was a good audition.
Mhm. I'm sure there was an enormous amount for you.
Yeah.
For me, I met up with him, looked at some stuff, but there's only a certain amount that's helpful.
There's so much out there that you can use as research in terms of like video footage of Amy and interviews and photos and also like just that in itself, what that means, a feeling of being watched that intensely was kind of the first part of it. So it's about studying her and creating something that's recognizable and distinguishable as Amy. But then also like the stuff in between was the really important thing for me that like was going to stop this from feeling like a impersonation or a cliche. You know, I really wanted it to feel like I was working from the inside out, you know. So it was just about like what she wanted from life and what made her laugh and who she loved and all of the human bits.
Just found that like I had a lot in common with him, and he had a lot of the characterisms of someone from that era. And it's a hard one to explain if you don't know what I'm on about. It was just like the music, the a lot of the clothing, the kind of attitude. He seemed to harbour that. And I remember looking up to lads his kind of age, you know, as I was sort of coming up and starting going out and what have you. So I could really relate to him through that, and we both have football as a common interest. But I think the major takeaway was any time he spoke about Amy, he was blatantly coming from a really sincere place, and it just felt like his love for her was so genuine that was really moving, and that was a massive detail in what informed me and what I wanted to do with portraying him.
I think in terms of like nailing all of the technical things, you know, that was fun. It was enjoyable because as I said, there is so much footage out there, and there are signifiers. The amazing thing about Amy is that she fully wore her opinions as well as her heart like on her sleeve. So if she was upset with something or annoyed by something or bored with something, you could see it on her face, and like that was an enjoyable thing to like really, okay, so what is she gonna do in those moments? And then obviously there's the voice and learning to sing. It was its own huge feat, but again, enjoyable. I think all of these things, you can see them get better with time, which is helpful when you're also preparing in a more sort of like sensitive way it's more intangible. You can feel it when you get it right, but it's more intangible to feel the essence of a person and the sense of a person. So it was kind of just the two things side by side. I think you can't have one without the other. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the nostalgia. I really enjoyed just like viewing this period again in retrospect, which kind of makes me feel a little bit old. That's what I learned. I'm old.
I learned so much. It was amazing. Whenever you do anything, I think like a little part of those people kind of stay with you, but someone as powerful as Amy definitely does. I was very, very lucky, to be honest, set with Jack and Eddie and Leslie, and like I learned a lot from them too about how to do this.
The Strokes, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Oasis, Libertines, Stone Roses. Man, great bands. Blake put a playlist across to me with a bunch of his tunes that he was listening to. Some I've never heard of. A lot of metal. Some Ramones, that was brilliant.
I don't know. I to be honest, I remember the first time I heard Amy's music though, and I remember my dad sitting me down and playing her to me and being like, stop what you're doing and listen to this. And I had the Frank album in my car, my mum's car that we'd listen to on the way to school. So I remember hearing her music actually, and then other things. I was probably just listening to what my parents were listening to. My mum listened to a lot of rock and roll. My dad listened to a lot of funk and soul music.
I was into the stuff that Amy covered. Like Toots and the Maytals, the Specials, like a lot of that music, and it was a wild thrill at the time to be hearing it covered. Current belters like Trojan Reggae records.
To be honest, my boyfriend's dad actually got me a Barbra Streisand CD for Christmas of her her first ever live recording. And I have been listening to that kind of ever since. It's really, really, really amazing. There's a specific song on it called Lover Come Back to Me that is incredible. And I also know that if I had that album whilst we were making this film, I would have played that song over and over and over again. I really hope that they take away the memory, it's sort of the lasting taste that will stay with them then for a while of Amy is how talented she was as a musician and how special a woman she was. Often when stories end too soon, we feel, of course, understandably, that tragedy is the thing that we're left feeling. And I think that it's a really special time to have this film remind us like how much amazement there is in her story. And I think I want people to walk out of the cinema and listen to her music and go, oh my God, like what an artist again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just love that she was unwavering in how she worked as an artist and wasn't going to be marketed. She wasn't going to be bent into something she wasn't and packaged and dressed up. It was a music that came first, and she had very little interest in any celebrity. And I love how that comes across in the film, and I really respect Amy Winehouse and her legacy for that.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.